I interviewed a number of models ranging from different experience levels, asking them what qualities do they want to see in their photographer, so you don't have to mess up your next photo shoot. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, my name is Joe, welcome to Genius of Joe. Today, we'll be discussing what do models want to see in a photographer when doing a photo shoot with them. Well, before we start, I just want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Joe, of course. I'm a professional portrait photographer looking to help other portrait photographers like yourself go from making work which is quite bland and boring to making work with a distinctive style that actually stands out to the rest of the competition and get more clients. So if that seems interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel. And once I've gained your trust and you want even more portrait photography advice, I actually have my one-to-one portrait photography coaching program, which is linked in the description below, where I personally go on calls with you, I critique your portrait work, and I'll just give you any general portrait photography advice that I have gained over multiple years of experience, so you can start accelerating your portrait photography progress now rather than later. So again guys, if that's interesting to you, top links in the description is where you can check it out and learn more. Being a portrait photographer is not just about having good technical ability. And by technical ability, I'm referring to lighting, compositions, like angles, basically anything to do with your camera basically, and then the technical ability of the camera, lighting, etc. Yes, obviously you need to get good at those things, like knowing how to light and stuff like that to take good photos, but you have to realize you're collaborating with another human being. Meaning it is crucial to learn how to work with said human being, also known as a model. So you need to know how to communicate with your model, how to make it a fun experience for them, how to make them feel comfortable, etc. I've already made a few videos on this topic of like making your model feel comfortable, etc. and stuff like that, right? But in this video, like you can kind of tell from the intro, you won't just get my word for it, you actually get the model's perspective. So I did this sort of like survey thing where I just messaged a bunch of models online basically. Some of them I worked with, some of them I've just found them online, just messaged random models I've seen online, right? And I've asked them this question: what are any qualities such as personality traits, behavior, or mannerisms you want or like to see in a photographer when doing a photo shoot together? Is there any specific way you like them to act to make you feel most comfortable, for example? I'm actually going to go over some of the responses right now. Some of them are quite long and detailed, some of them are more like short and brief. I'm actually going to go over the longest answer first because I think it's the most informational one, and I think this is to get it out of the way too, right? So let's go for it. Everyone is personal, but I think having music on really relaxes tension for me and makes me more grounded during a shoot and helps me ease any tension if I have any, but it depends what the model's preference is and the photographer's. It's basic but very important having a place for a model to get changed and make it clear where that is. Never put the model in a position where they feel forced to get changed in front of people. Make sure that they at least have a choice so they can decide. Make it clear where all the photos are going, get the model's full consent, make sure you're on the same page about that stuff. Obviously, that's like basic stuff right there, right? Always ask for consent about like where the photos are going to go and everything like that. Make it clear on where the photos are going to go. Don't put it on some weird website sending them some shit like that. Obviously, like tell them where you're going to post them. Where is it on your website, Instagram? This basic stuff. There's literally like a one, let's say that, right? Just before the shoot or anything like that, right? But yeah. Okay. When it comes to anything in the shoot, communication is your best friend. Communication throughout the shoot is needed. Let me know if something is working. If not, let me know. Also, be straight to the point. Don't be afraid as long as you're being respectful. Again, guys, basic stuff right there. Communication is key. You need to work with the model. I'll talk about that later too. Some models are naturally good at coming up with poses and have a natural flow. Others do not. Everyone is different, so don't be afraid to communicate pose ideas. But at the same time, I think a lot of magic can happen by giving the models some freedom. I think it's a balance in between. That's my opinion. Depends on the photographer's work. I think it's brilliant when a photographer shows inspiration pics for the shoot. I have often found it very helpful when the photographer is clear with the ideas and makes me feel much more confident to experiment and to make sure I'm reaching the photographer's ideas as well. Guys, inspiration pics is so important, or like mood boards, right? Why are you going into the shoot without having some sort of idea of on paper or on record of what the shoot is going to be? It's not just you that needs to know what the shoot is going to be. You sending a mood board of like a bunch of inspiration pics for the shoot to your model gives the model a clear idea on what to expect, what to wear, how to pose, etc. Like they can physically and mentally prepare for the shoot at hand. So you might think, why do they need to do that? Well, if the shoot is going to be once if your shoot's going to be very dramatic and very out there, unorthodox, that is a completely different vibe and feeling and emotion compared to this more high key lighting, more fun, happy type of environment, something more less dramatic, if that makes any sense. So you need to prepare for that stuff. Read body language. You can most likely tell if the model is uncomfortable doing something, but if you're not sure, always make sure to ask. This is crucial to make it a comfortable environment and makes it more approachable as well. And yeah, guys, body language is extremely important. Like, I noticed that this is a weakness of mine, because I remember when I read the email, I was just like, wait, when she mentioned body language, I was like, oh shit. I actually don't really recall picking up on any social or physical cues of the model if they're going to feel uncomfortable or not, right? Like, I notice I don't really check up on the model that much, and I notice I'm going to start doing that more now. I actually have a shoot today, so I'm definitely going to start doing that more, to asking them, are you okay? Are you feeling comfortable? All that type of stuff, because I feel like that just creates a nice, friendly environment, and it shows that you actually care for them. And it comes back to the human beings thing of like, we are working with other human beings. They also have emotions and everything like that. They're not just robots, right? So they have their own feelings and emotions. So we need to ask them, like, are you okay? Is everything cool? Because at the end of the day, guys, if they're not comfortable, they feel uncomfortable, you're not going to get the photos you want to get. And I understand, guys, it can be really easy just to be fixated on your side of the photo shoot, so like your lighting, your cameras, your lenses and stuff like that, but like, it's definitely a weakness of a lot of photographers, especially sometimes it's me as well, that like, we focus too much on that side of it, and we need to realize that we're working with other human beings. We need to think about the person in front of us. We need to know how to make a comfortable environment for them, all that type of stuff. It's probably why your photos aren't as good as they are, is because you don't know how to make your model feel comfortable within your shoot environment. So you're not getting the poses you want to get, you're not getting the movement, you're not getting that certain mannerism from the model that you want to get, because you don't know how to make them feel comfortable. Overall, be friendly, be kind, be respectful, and communicate, and have fun experimenting and enjoying this creative process together. It's a unique job, so just enjoy it. And guys, like I said in another video before, which I'll put up here, this is a collaborative experience, so work together to get the best photos possible. You both want good photos, right? It's not just you that want good photos, they both want really good photos, so you both want really good photos, so work together to get to that goal, right? It's a collaborative experience. So yeah, a lot to unpack with that answer. I hope you found that answer useful and helpful for you guys. I hope that gave you like a new insight on what you need to improve on, what you haven't even touched up on, all that type of stuff. If you're new to photography or are struggling to find models to shoot with, I actually have a full in-depth guide where I go fully in detail into a guide of how to find models on your next photo shoot, which I'll put up here. And I promise you guys, by the end of that video, you will have a model by the end of the month to shoot with. Okay, on to another answer. In my experience, I always feel more comfortable during a shoot when there's music playing. Again, guys, the music part, right? Why are you shooting in silence? Especially if you're in a location which is indoors, like a studio or something like that, right? Why are you not playing music? Play some fucking music. Always have music on during your shoot, right? Don't be this guy and be like, what if I can't hear the model? It's professional. Bro, you don't have to play the music so loud or you just can't hear each other, like you have to blast it like it's a club. Just play it at a loud enough volume where you both can still hear each other clearly. Music will just make it just a much more enjoyable experience, right? Like, who doesn't like music? Like, unless you're a psychopath, you like music, right? And I feel like, especially if you're doing like more crazy poses, music definitely helps with that momentum of the shoot, and it helps with the transition in between different poses. So if you're doing more like action type of poses, then the model's gonna find it so much easier to go into those poses, and it may feel way more comfortable to do that, and it's awkward to do that when there's loud music playing. Just in terms of me feeling less exposed and awkward while I pose, but also when you can just have an everyday conversation with the photographer to make you feel more at ease and maybe a bit distracted / more relaxed. A little like at the hairdressers, I suppose. It's nice when the environment is friendly. Also, just generally checking in on the model if the model feels okay, comfortable throughout the shoot is good, as it makes us feel like we don't have to make it awkward. And yeah, a lot of similar things to the last answer, guys. But again, this shows that it's just not that complicated at all. Just don't be a social autist, basically, right? And to be honest, right, once you've actually nailed down like making the model feel comfortable, knowing how to communicate with the model, how to work with them, etc., the technical part of things, like obviously the lighting and stuff like that, is much easier than you think, because now you don't have to worry about like how am I going to make the model feel comfortable. You're not focused on that, you're not super focused on that, because now you can focus more on that the technical aspect of it, because making the comfortable environment is second nature to you. Okay, I'll go on to another answer now. A photographer is strictly there to do their job, friendly but not overly friendly, someone who makes us feel comfortable in front of the camera. Love it when they know their lighting and angles to advise us which poses are going to look great. And then I actually asked the follow-up question, what would a photographer have to do to make you feel comfortable? And this is the answer to the follow-up question. Friendly, communicated what they want openly, and helps with wanting the best out of the photographs. And I think what she means by that is, again, just clear communication with what you want to go for, your intentions within the shoot, your theme, everything to do with that. Again, guys, very similar to the last two, but this time they actually mentioned that they want a photographer with good technical ability. And again, guys, like I said earlier, once you've nailed down the aspect of knowing how to work with the model, how to communicate with the model, the technical ability part and the technical part of the shoot is not that difficult. And actually, when you're good at lighting and when you're good at shooting at certain angles and stuff like that, right, like you actually make the model feel more comfortable, as they know that you're gonna get good photos and they know that they're in good hands. So they're not going to worry about, okay, is he taking good photos of me? They're not going to have that anxious feeling in the back of their mind of like, is he actually taking any good photos, or she taking any good photos? They're actually just being like, oh yeah, like anything I do, the photos are going to be sick. So it makes them feel more at ease, if that makes sense. But guys, just don't be overly professional. I think that was mentioned in one of the other answers. Just find that middle ground, right? Find that middle ground between being professional but also being friendly. But like they said, the model said, don't be too friendly, which I feel like I know what that means. Don't be flirty, don't be in that type of way, don't be like sexual, don't be do I have to tell you that? Don't be sexual with your model. Do I have to really tell you that? Don't flirt with your model. But yeah, don't do that type of stuff. Just be friendly, like a normal friendly person. And guys, like I tell other people, right, put yourself in the model's shoes. If you were posing and dressing up for a stranger, what would you want them to do to make the experience as fun and as comfortable as possible? Don't be that photographer who goes, well, it's their job, so I shouldn't have to help them with posing and they should just know what to do. Bro, you sound goofy as fuck. I'm sorry, but you just do. And guys, not all models have the same experience level as other models. Some may be more new to it where they need help with that type of stuff. Do you really want to be a photographer who doesn't talk to your model or communicate with them? Do you expect them just to like pose for you like a robot? Like, do that pose. Okay, do that pose. Do it. I mean, they're human beings, so treat them as such. I'm actually going to go into two answers now, but I'll say them at the same time and I'll talk about them after I read them. When on a photo shoot with a photographer, especially as someone who hasn't really modeled before, I want the photographer to put me at ease and make the experience as enjoyable and chilled as possible. I feel like that gets the best side out of your models, as they can just be more natural with their poses and make the shoot look more organic, therefore getting the best photos. Obviously be professional and take the shoot seriously. However, if you're too uptight, the model will also be uptight and stiff, which makes it harder to create the vision that the photographer wants. Also, sending inspo pics for the vibe you are going for is really important, as it gives the model an idea of how to do their hair and makeup and what energy they should bring to the shoot. Also, send these a few days before so they can prepare, know what to expect, and get in the right mindset. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next answer now. Friendly, down to earth, someone who doesn't mind giving you suggestions in the shoot. If it's turn a little bit to the left, angle yourself there, take a couple steps this or that way, but also makes you feel comfortable and confident enough to put your own personality as a model in your shoot. I don't know if I could suggest a specific way, but just be calm, communicating, friendly, and someone you can just have a good laugh with. And yeah, as you can tell from the first answer, that was someone who is literally barely modeled before. They actually only ever modeled once, which is actually with me. They've only ever modeled once. So yeah, back to the thing. Inspo pics, mood boards, very important. Also, don't be overly professional, which I actually just mentioned. Don't be overly professional. Don't be so uptight and stiff, because if you're like that, the model will also be like that, right? So if you're uptight and stiff and like very rigid and professional, they're going to be the exact same thing, which you don't want in your photo shoot. And second answer, guys, very similar, just creating an enjoyable environment for the model. Being friendly, being down to earth, just the basics of being a decent human being, basically, right? I think a lot of photographers fail to do these basic things, as you think of it as a job, so you think you should act a certain way. And guys, obviously it's a job, right? You're getting paid to do this type of stuff. I'm not saying it's not a job, but guys, you're not their lawyer. You're not their doctor or something, right? So you're just taking fucking photos of them, for God's sake. Stop being super rigid and like overly professional, having a certain etiquette about you when you're just taking photos of them. It's a creative, again, like in the first answer, it's a creative and unique job. So treat it as such. It's a fun thing. Don't be overly professional and being like, I can't say a certain word because that could ruin my reputation. What? What are you talking about? And if I was gonna give you a little tip, right? Treat it like it's a hangout. Like, don't treat it as if, okay, I'm going to go on a job, I'm doing something for my client to get a certain product. Obviously that's what you're doing, but don't treat it as such. Treat it as more of like, okay, I'm gonna hang out with this model, I'm gonna get to know them, I'm gonna have fun with the shoot, and yeah, let's have a great time. Like, you're just gonna hang out with them. I think I'll stop the answers here. I had a few more answers, but I feel like they were basically just saying the exact same things, getting like inspo pics, all that type of stuff, right? So I didn't want to make this video super repetitive, if that makes sense. And by the way, they're all models at different experience levels. Some of them, again, only modeled once before. Some of them are modeled multiple times. I've had worked with multiple photographers, but I just wanted to do that because I wanted a variety of answers and different perspectives. As you won't always work with the best of the best models or the worst of the worst models, for example, right? So you may one day work with a really experienced model who knows what they're doing, they know how to pose, they know everything, or you may work with a model that has any experience, have done like 1 or 2 shoots before, or they maybe haven't even done a shoot before, they don't really know how to pose, they're kind of awkward in front of a camera, etc. And because of this, you may have to navigate the situation differently depending on the experience level of the model. Anyway guys, that is it for the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys found this useful. I hope I helped you find like a new perspective on how to work with models in the future. This is definitely something that you want to nail down before you even look into your technical ability and stuff like that, right? Because again, like I said throughout the video, the technical ability part is probably easier than knowing how to work with the model, making them feel comfortable, because if you want to get the best photos, again, making the model feel comfortable is probably more important than knowing how to light. And I actually think this is quite useful for me too, because I feel like I learned a lot from this as well. Like there's some things I knew, like this, the music part or the inspiration, like the mood board part, like I kind of knew that. But the other stuff like the body language and everything, I feel like I've also gained some a new perspective on this too, which will help me approach my next photo shoot. If you want any personal guidance for your portrait photography, again guys, top links in the description is my one-to-one coaching program. Again, I will go on calls with you, I will critique your work, I will give you more personal tailored advice to you, so it's even more helpful than these YouTube videos. And obviously I've been talking about technical ability a lot in this video. I do have a lighting course which is linked below, so if you want to learn more about portrait lighting, how to light your model, etc., that is linked below. I promise you guys, by the end of that course, you will know everything it is to do with lighting in terms of the basics of lighting techniques, all that type of stuff, and actually understand how professionals light their models. And if you're struggling with the basics of your camera, like your aperture, shutter speed, ISO, I actually offer a free video course, a free exposure triangle guide video course, which is also linked below. All you need to do is go on my website, scroll down a bit, see this little block, put your name, email address in, click get your guide, and I'll send you that guide for free. And guys, that is it. Click on any of these videos here to learn more about portrait photography, and I'll see you next time guys. Goodbye.